Hi, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Jessa Jeremiah. An excellent show for you today, introducing you to some small businesses in our area. We're checking in with our news partners, and we're kicking it off with James Westring, who is the owner of Westring Construction, LLC. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I thank you very kindly for being here.
Well, I'm very happy to learn about your business. Let's talk a little bit about who Westring Construction, LLC is and what you specialize in.
Well, we specialize in providing solutions to unique and complex remodeling challenges. We are a general contracting design build contractor, so we prefer to work in a collaborative environment to provide those solutions to those unique and complex challenges.
Absolutely. So I have a feeling you come across those frequently in your line of work. Let's talk a little bit about some of the bigger, more challenging projects that you come across.
Okay. So some of those are, well, first of all, remodeling can be a very stressful and anxious type environment where a lot of decisions have to be made. Sometimes things don't always go according to plan. There may be some issues with a product being delivered incorrectly or broken or something. And maybe some of these larger projects that have detailed design requirements can sometimes be missed. And so we've we've designed a system for checks and balances on making sure, like checklists, just making sure that we've got certain aspects covered. We do milestone meetings in the beginning of the project, at pre-drywall, substantial completion, and final completion. And there's also meetings along the way, so either it could be ad hoc or they could be scheduled, and these are the larger projects, of course. But we're also, even though there's a lot of planning involved and plans drawn up and specifications specified, there's always something that gets in the way, or something changes. It could be an owner change, could be an architect change, could be a contractor change, could be field conditions. So there's a lot of variables, a lot of things that happen in the field and in the background. And really, we just try to work at doing the best we can, not to make assumptions, try not to take things personally because it can get very emotional at times. And then really just be true to your word. If you're going to say you're going to do something, then let's do it.
So along those lines, you mentioned that it is such an emotional thing sometimes for people. It could be a very challenging project. Field conditions, like you mentioned, is certainly something that you have no control over. How do you deal with problems that are encountered when you do have something that pops up that's outside of your control?
Right. Well, for one, you gather your team together. So the architect would typically be involved, the owner for sure, and the affected trade or the employees, my employees. So, we take a look at the situation and find out what went wrong, how to fix it, how to get around it, what would be a suitable fix, because sometimes, again, with field conditions, we might not be able to have what we want to do in the plan, and that's what some of those variables do. So we have to find creative ways to get around all that.
Well, I have a feeling you've encountered just about everything
Yes.
and kind of know your way around a problem. Let's talk a little bit about the sales process. With just about a minute or so left, I want to talk about what that looks like.
Because we're a design build firm, we prefer to, or I prefer in the sales process in the beginning, is to really set expectations as to really what the design process is, that it is a collaborative effort, that there's differences between a bid and an estimate, that sometimes we use allowances to cover certain things. I also talk heavily on the expectations, but also what to expect. So expect in schedules, expectations in the sale or in the build process, and that sort of thing.
Well, I think that's really nice. You lay it out for the person that you're working with so that, there's going to be surprises. It's unavoidable in the line of work that you're in. But if you have as many details up front and expectations from the company that you're working with, that sure helps ease the customer into the project.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Now, we do have to go, but I want to ask you the best way to sort of get in contact with you to start this process if somebody's watching and might have a unique project for you.
Absolutely. So we use the internet quite heavily, and we are found at westringconstruction.com. We do have a Contact Us page, which is a form that's got a lot of information that you can fill out, attach pictures, describe it. Phone calls are always very good. And of course, there's many other ways to reach us. And
You'll accept a good old-fashioned phone call?
absolutely.
I love it. Well, thank you for sharing. I have a feeling there's a lot more we could have touched on with this topic, but I appreciate your time and giving us an introduction to Westring Construction.
Well, thank you very kindly.
Thank you. We'll be back with more Talk of the Town coming up after the break. Stick around.